As a deer hunter, I want to know all I can about America's favorite big game animal. That's why I became a deer farmer. Without deer farms, we lose our greatest resource for research and whitetail management. With them, we gain more knowledge than ever before. Join me as we discover the truth about whitetails and meet those who work every day to preserve this great species for future generations. My name is Keith Warren, and this is Deer and Wildlife Stories. All right, I'm trying to look at him and trying to think, what on this deer would somebody not like? I mean, look at the tine length, look at the main beams, look at his spread and the brow tines. I mean, is there anything on this deer that a person wouldn't like? This is Big Stitch, folks, and on today's show, we're at T3 Whitetails. I'm excited to be back at T3 Whitetails. This is the second year in a row. You know, last year I came out here and the one thing that happened unforgettable was seeing Big Stitch. Big Stitch is truly a deer that when you see it, you will not forget him. And the cool thing about it is there were some Big Stitch yearlings that had a lot of promise. I mean, they look good. So this year, they're gonna be 2-year-olds, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they look like.
I'm John Scott Hueske with T3 Whitetails, located in Somerville, Texas. Our ranch is located approximately 35 miles from College Station, Texas. We currently have about 600 deer in our breeding facility. Here at T3 Whitetails, we're all about big, framey, typical deer. We want to be able to impact the genetics of your ranch. We sell stalker bucks to allow you to do so. We sell bred does. If you want to impact the genetics on your ranch, please contact us, we can help.
I travel all over the country, and being from Texas, all the people from outside of Texas are always asking me, hey, tell me about Big Stitch. Tell me about Big Stitch. What do you think? And Big Stitch is, I mean, you take one look at him and I mean, he's gonna be indelible. You can't forget that. And the cool thing is there are people breeding with him all over the country now. And the one thing that I found, for example, I go to Florida, and yes, in Florida they got big deer, and thanks to Big Stitch, they really got big deer because Mike Mansfield, I mean, we've got a show going on with him this year, went over there, I said, who is that great big yearling? Who is he out of? Yes, sir. Big Stitch. Deer and Wildlife Stories is brought to you by the North American Deer Farmers Association, New Dart, the North American Deer Registry, Beam Fence Company, WinADeerFarm.com, the Texas Deer Association, Newport Laboratories, Game Management Systems, Shock Effect Maximizer and SeaCal, Deer Guardian Misting Systems, BuyMyDeer.com, Dr. Ray Favero's Whitetail Genetics, Record Rack Deer Feeds, and by All Seasons Feeders. It's a lifestyle. Closed captioning for Deer and Wildlife Stories with Keith Warren is brought to you by Keith Warren's Texas Hidden Springs Ranch. All right, Paul is from Kansas. He says, even though I'm not a deer farmer, I love watching Deer and Wildlife Stories for all the big deer and cool places you go to. I just want to say thanks for putting the shows on your website. I'm not always able to catch them on TV, so it's nice to be able to watch them on my phone. All right, Paul, you're welcome. What we do, we put every single one of our shows online. And if you want to watch them 24/7 without commercials, all you need to do is you can go to my website where we have a direct link to my YouTube channel, and we have not only the shows, but all kinds of tips, helpful information, and we have literally 500 plus videos on there. It's absolutely free. So log on to the YouTube channel and see what we have there for you.
My goal here at the ranch is to make $1 million.
Oh yeah, I mean there's a bunch of them in here too. Oh my goodness, what is that buck's name?
That's Nightshade.
Nightshade. I ought to call him Lampshade. I mean, my gosh, I mean, look at that. Holy smokes, and how old is he?
He's 2 years old.
Wow. Okay, now that deer right there at 2 years old, you know, we were out here last year and I don't remember seeing that deer as a yearling. Was he here?
Yes, sir. He was here.
Did he just blow up between the yearling and?
He blew up. I mean, just absolutely blew up.
Okay, so how wide do you think he is?
I'd say 32, 34 inches.
Yeah,
wide.
he is. Look at that. And then he's got just enough character stuff coming off of him that to me he is beautiful. But you can tell, look at his body. I mean, his body is lean, you know, he's young, and I wonder, what is his pedigree?
He's shadow over a dream buck granddaughter.
Okay. So when you folks, you hear shadow, instantly, I mean, I perk up, because shadow is like one of the anchor deer in our industry. Shadow's done a really, really good job. And so what are your plans with him? You
know, this year, we actually covered with him last year as a yearling.
Did you get any fawns?
We did get some fawns out of him.
All right, nice.
So I think we'll have a couple of yearlings to look at out of him next year. And we're going to use him this year as a cover, and we're going to collect semen on him this year.
Okay, I think that's pretty cool. You know, as far as collecting semen, here's what to get value in a deer. Okay, what we wind up doing to get value is you've got to see production-wise what they do, and yes, so by turning him out and on some does and getting some fawns on the ground with him now, look at him at 2, and you know he's got fawns on the ground. By the time he hits 3, you know he's already going to be even bigger. He's going to supersize. But those little fawns are going to have their first set of antlers too. And so when they have their first set of antlers, now you can sit back and go, is he a producer or not?
That's exactly right.
Okay, and so what happens to get value in a deer, they want to be able to see what he produces. So that guy right there, I mean, he's got a lot on his head. He's got a great pedigree. And so that's, I'm kind of anxious to see what he does next year and what his little babies do next year too. But what did he look like last year?
You know, last year he was, he was an 8-point.
Really?
He was good enough for us to cover with. Last year we laid all our best yearlings out. We scored them, looked at their pedigrees, and we took the 5 best yearlings we had and covered with them.
Wow. So, okay, you've got some fawns on the ground now. If somebody wanted to buy some fawns, you sell fawns?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Get a hold of T3Whitetails.com and find out more information on the fawns, or find out information on the breeder bucks or anything else they got out here. But go to his website, T3Whitetails.com. Now, these other bucks in here, they all look to be 2 years old too, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Okay, is there any common denominator in these guys?
Yes, sir. All the red tags in this pen are big stitch 2-year-olds.
A lot of deer breeders, folks, do not breed yearling bucks. I'm just telling you that right now. I do. But there's a lot of them that don't, because they don't want to take the chance. They say it's iffy. But when you start taking a look at pedigrees and you look at what John said, you lay them out and you pick the best ones as far as visually, you pick the best ones that have the pedigree behind it, and you expose those to a limited number of does, you kind of get a year ahead on the competition, because you're actually able to see what they produce.
Absolutely. And that's exactly why we did it.
Well, I like these 2-year-olds. I mean, you got some real good 2-year-olds in here, but that buck right there, like I said, he ought to be called Lampshade. Today's show is brought to you in part by BuyMyDeer.com, your online source for monster whitetails.